Hello, you here is Steven, and what we're going to be treating today is the drawing area for AutoCAD. When you want to draw, the first thing you do, you go to the Start Drawing space. Before you do that, select the template which you want to use in drawing, which is right here. For this tutorial, we're going to be selecting AutoCAD.dwt. AutoCAD.dwt is selected, and now we start our drawing. Now, when you start your drawing, this is the first thing you see. We're going to be going through the whole workspace with you. Let's dive in. When you look towards your extreme, when you look towards your top left, what you see is the application button. Here is the application button. This is the application button. So what does the application button do? So for the application button, when you click on it, here's what you find. Click on application button, you find a new drawing, you find the open drawing, you see the save, you see the save as, import, export, and so on. What I want to show you for this tutorial is how to search for commands using the application button. You go to the search option. For instance, you want to locate where a line is. When you see line, you type line, and you enter, and you can see you have line. So what it's telling you from the first option here is how to find line command. You go to your ribbon, you go to the home tab, you check for the draw panel, and you can find the line command. That's how to locate your line command. You're going to see how this is very useful when we explain what the ribbon is, and we dive into it. Then when you go down to your utilities, when you check, you have recover option here. Most times when you fail to save your drawing, when your system coincidentally shuts down and you want to recover your drawing, this is what recover does for you. So it's very important to pay attention to what recover can do, and you can edit the units of your drawing using this unit option right here. Now let's close this. Let's click on the free space and close this. If you check your home page for AutoCAD, you notice other things, so many commands. Let's understand what this does. Now, just below the application button here, you have this whole very wide space. Right here you go. The whole thing here is called the ribbon. The ribbon, what it does is it houses all, the ribbon houses all the commands which are going to be used during our AutoCAD drawing. The ribbon houses so many commands. So for the home, this point here where it says home is a tab. So for the tabs, you have the home tab, you have the insert tab, you have the annotate tab, you have the parametric tab, and so on. Within the tabs, which is home tab, for instance, you have the draw panel, you have the panels. So you have the draw panel, you have the modify panel, you have the annotation panel, and so on and so forth for the panels. And within the panels for draw, you have the commands. You have the line command, you have the polyline command, you have the circle command, and so on. Within some commands, you have fly out, right? There's some commands that have extra options within them. For instance, the cycle command. If you click on the drop down right here, you see a fly out. You see it has cycle radius, it has cycle center, and so on and so forth. So that's for circle. Now that's fly out for you, and that's what the ribbon does. There's a way you can manipulate the ribbon to suit you. How can you do that? For instance, if there is a panel you are constantly using, for instance, the draw panel, you can drag it to your workspace area. I find a free space right here, then I left click and I drag, and the panel follows me, the draw panel follows me to whichever spot I want it to be, right? And I can use it normally. Now you hover around it, you check towards this part, and you can find a sign which permits you to return panels to ribbon. So when I click on it, it returns the panel back to the ribbon position. Now you can still edit what you have within your ribbon. When you move to your extreme right, you have a free space just at this spot. You right click. When you right click, more options pop up. More options pop up like tool palette, palette group, show tabs, show panels. So when you want to edit the tabs within your ribbon, you can check your home tab, insert tab, and the likes. So we want to uncheck home tab to reduce the number of tabs within our ribbon. So when I click on home tab, it disappears from this spot, right? Let's right click again and go back to show tabs, and let's make sure that our home tab is back in its position. Then when you click on this space again, our home tab is back. Let me move back to home tab. When you click on this space again, you right click, you check, you have show panels. Now within home tab, you have the panels. Now the draw panel is the first panel you can see in the home tab. If we uncheck it, what happens? It disappears. And the home tab's first panel becomes modified. Now we can bring it back by right clicking again and go to show panels, and let's click on draw panel, and it pops back out, right? And when you right click here, you can see there's an option which says show panel titles. This is just to display the titles, like you have draw, you have modify. When you uncheck it, those disappear to create more space for you to draw. Now undock permits you to change the position of your ribbon. How do you go about doing that? Now, when you select the undock option, what it does is it moves the ribbon from its position to a random spot within the drawing area so that you can change the location of the ribbon to your taste, right? Now the ribbon finds itself here. Now I click on this spot, I left click, I hold, left click and hold, and it permits me to move the ribbon from one spot to another. As you can see, the ribbon is being moved, right? You're noticing that the ribbon is being moved throughout the workspace area. So I can drag the ribbon to this point and drop it. And this is the perfect position where I want my ribbon to always pop up, right? If this position is not good enough for you, you can still drag your ribbon from here. You drag it out, click on it and hold, left click and drag. When you drag it out, it frees up itself. When you drag it out, it's supposed to free up itself. So let's drag it from the top here, left click and drag. When you drag it, it moves. Let's click here, hold and drag, right? So our ribbon is moving now. And we can position it back at its default position and free it up. It positions itself at its default position. So the ribbon is at its default position currently. So that's all for the ribbon. Now, if we look at our screen, we have the cardinal points at this point. We have some cardinal points popping up. So what did we do? This is the view cube. View cube is very important when it comes to 3D. The view cube helps you see different views of your 3D objects. That's what the view cube is meant for. Now, aside the view cube, we have the navigation bar. The navigation bar is just right here below the view cube. Here you go. Here is your navigation bar. Navigation bar helps you navigate the work area. You have the pan, you have the zoom, you have the navigation wheel, you have orbit as its options. You have orbit right here, you have zoom here, you have pan here, you have the navigation wheel, right? Now, if you check your drawing area, you have more things that you can see. For instance, just below this, right here, you have the status bar. Here is the status bar. And the status bar's main function is to help you manipulate the workspace so that it's more suitable for you to draw. You can edit the contents of the status bar by going towards the extreme right here, where you have the customization. When you click on customization, what happens is more options pop up, which you can check from this list that pops up. Whatever is checked is currently in your status bar, but whatever is not checked, it's not currently in your status bar. So you can edit accordingly to your taste. Now let's check an example of the options in the status bar. You have the first one here, display grid lines. Now you can notice the grid lines are the lines that run vertically and horizontally across your drawing area. If I make sure that this is not blue, it's now gray by clicking on it and left click on it, and what happens? The whole grid lines disappear. Now when I left click on it again, it turns blue and the grid lines are back up. So your status bar helps you manipulate your drawing area to your taste. Drawing area is everywhere where you cannot find commands to handle. It's your drawing area. Now, if you move towards the center, bottom center here, you have what is called the command line. The command line runs from the left, almost the extreme left, to your right. This is the command line right here. Command line runs through up to the end here. Now, what the command line does is it permits you to input commands, and it gives you commands when you are using the AutoCAD. For instance, you want to draw and you click on line right here. You click on line and you notice what happens. The command line is saying you should specify first point, right? When you specify first point, the command line still tells you something else. It says you should specify next point or undo. So we don't want to draw for now, so we just escape, you spacebar, or you enter to do away with a command which you're currently working on. So if I escape now, what happens is my line command that I'm using disappears. And if we move towards the extreme bottom left, what you notice is this X and Y axis, which is called the user coordinate system, the UCS. Now, the UCS is very important when it comes to 3D, as it helps you position your drawing point to make it easier to draw on surfaces and to draw on curves within your 3D drawing. Now, over here, you have the in-canvas controls. What the in-canvas controls do is they help you control the options within your canvas, which is your drawing area. Now, if we check this minus option, it says restore viewports or viewport configuration list, and you have view cube, for instance. Remember, your view cube is the cardinal point option where you have your north, south, east, and west. So if I uncheck this, what happens is my view cube disappears, as you've noticed. Then I go back here and I make sure that it's active and my view cube is back on. Now, the next option here permits you to specify your default view. Do you want to be viewing it from the bottom, from the top, from the left, from the right, from the front, from the back, and so on? Where do you want your view to appear from by default? And this is important when it comes to 3D. Once again, the next option here manipulates the view on how you see your object. Currently, it's on 2D wireframe because we are currently drawing in 2D. Then if you click the option, you left click, you see you have conceptual, you have hidden, and you have so many options on how you can view your 3D shape. We are currently in 2D, so we would not be able to notice that. Now, for your drawing area, these are the major things I want you to notice. Then aside that, if you check the top of your screen, you have drafting and annotation, which is the option where you can change your workspace, you can switch your workspace from 2D to 3D. So drafting and annotation is for 2D, then you have 3D basics, you have 3D modeling, and you have other options within here. Now, where you find the name of your drawing is right here. It currently says drawing 3 for me. Let me highlight that so that you see what I'm showing you. It currently says drawing 3. Here you go. It currently says drawing 3.dwg, right? I can change the name of my drawing by using a shortcut, which is Control Shift and S. And what happens is this window pops up, permitting me to select the format in which I want my drawing to appear, right? So I'm going to select the format I want my drawing to appear. Now, when you are saving your drawing in AutoCAD, you have to consider the year of AutoCAD that your recipient or your client is using, so that it's easy for your client to view what you are recommending to your client. Now we currently have R2010, we have 2000, LT 2000, in bracket we have 2004, and so on. I could just select 2010 for instance, and anyone using AutoCAD 2010 and below can view this drawing, right, from anywhere in the world. So I click here now, I've selected the year of the AutoCAD I wanted to adopt, and I can change the name to day 26, for instance, to 26, and I enter. And if you check where my label is, just at the top here, it changes to day 26.dwg, which is the default drawing format for AutoCAD. With this, we've come to the end of explaining how the workspace of AutoCAD is and what it can be used for.